It's a private ad-free space where your members of your community or studio can come together. You don't have to worry about the noise of social media. Real quick, I wanted to share a little bit about me in this context. I've been on Skool since 2023 and built my first community in January 2024. And I was voted a top 5 community member in the main Skool community for school creators and owners. And our community, Skool Dance, is one of the top hobby communities. That's a category on Skool hobbies. We are one of the top 200. I'm also now a Skool ambassador and I create ads for the platform. I'm not any official staff and don't have any affiliation that way. So I did just want to make that clear. I was invited by the founder to create ads for the platform in a small group of people who were invited to do that. The platform itself has grown a lot in the past couple of years that I've been on it. It is a top 20, just recently in the past couple of weeks, top 20 social media platform, and 1 million new users are coming to Skool every 2 weeks, which is pretty cool. The experience is 100% ad-free, depending on the plan that you are on. They actually just rolled out a hobby plan instead of pro. I personally use pro to host Skool Dance, and I have for the whole time. That's all they had before. But the hobby plan is only $9 a month. On that hobby plan, they do have on the side where they show like 5 suggested communities, but it's based off of what your space is. It's a private container, like I said, a space where the studio can come together depending on how you use it. If it's just for students, the Skool platform technically itself is for ages 13 and up to protect the users. But if it's a space for parents and for families to come together to have all of the news about the studio, that's somewhere that they can interact that isn't just you sharing posts, if you do on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever you share on social media and them responding in the comments. They're actually, depending on how you have it set up, able to share their own posts, to ask questions, to connect with one another. And sometimes it builds this new energy, a way for people to engage with each other where they may not be able to do that in the studio like on a regular basis, unless they're all sitting in the lobby or coming to an event or something. They can keep that energy alive throughout the week, depending on how you set it up and you want it to blossom. The platform, like I said, is growing really fast. And I love the staff at Skool. They really are community first focused, and they listen to their members' needs and have added a lot of features based on what people want. Here's a look at Skool Dance. This will show you an example of what I would consider to be a thriving Skool community. Our community focus is different than yours would be for the studio, but I think it's a great example. You have your community feed. If you're already in another Skool space, you might have seen how it's laid out. You have your membership requests up top if people come to join your group. You can have links on the side for people to do certain things, and you have various tabs. The community tab is one that's most like Facebook, where posts come in and they can be filtered based on new or on top or on a default setting. You have your classroom where you have anything that you want to share. So that could be videos that are already on YouTube that you have from previous years that you want to share and highlight. It can be private classes or private training that's just for teachers or for admin and it's only unlocked for those people. Or it can be information for parents. It's a great place to organize different resources, videos, documents, PDFs, all kinds of stuff. So that's the classroom. In the calendar, you can have as many events listed on the calendar as you like. You can view it in this kind of calendar view, and then you can also view it in an icon view that shows the next event that's coming up. Depending on what it is, I don't know if you offer any online classes, but if it's some sort of meeting where people do it virtually, whether it's your team or whether it's with parents, any kind of event that you want them to know about, you can have it on the calendar. They can click through. If it's something that's in person, they can also click through to a link potentially to sign up. So whether it's having recital on the calendar and wanting them to be able to easily find links to access tickets or things like that. Then there's the leaderboard, which is helpful in some communities as a way to increase engagement in the space. It's a nice way to honor the people that are already there. We often do prizes, drawings for merch and for different things. And it just shows who's already active in your space. So that might be your true regulars of your community is what they call it on Skool. Then you have your about page, which shares a little bit about your group and would be helpful for people who are coming in off the platform to get an idea of what they're coming into in this new interface. Depending on how your group is set up, I'll show you a few examples. If it is open to the public, then they would also have an idea of what would be inside. Okay, why Skool for your studio? These are a few things that I think are helpful. It's a great way to move people from social media, like I mentioned. Nothing wrong with social media, but to get them from this space of the creator or the owner always having to share information and people consume it. It's nice in a community because people are able to go back and forth and to have conversations with each other about various things. You can keep it light and useful. You can send email broadcasts. So you probably already have an email list or a CRM. Everyone that's inside of this community, you can also send them a broadcast email every 72 hours. So it's another way to stay in contact with your people easily just with the click of a button. You can sell digital products. So if you have merchandise that you want to sell and you want people to be able to access it easily all year, you would have to fulfill it depending on where it's located, but you can sell various things inside the classroom. So they can have class packages, they can have merchandise, anything that you want to sell as a one-time purchase. You can keep your calendar easily accessible with workshops and different things that you might want to have. I already mentioned it's a space for discussion. You can have your team manage this space as well. On the $9 plan that I mentioned, the hobby plan, you can't have administrators on that plan, but you can have moderators. So if you wanted someone to moderate the space to make sure it has all the stuff that you want in it and none of the stuff that you don't, you can add a moderator. On the pro plan, you can also add an administrator, and they have access to everything except for your billing information, but they're able to move things around and see from that view. And then you can post courses and things on here if you have tutorials or videos for them to learn or quizzes for them to take. Here's a few examples of some studios that also seem to be doing well on Skool. One of the examples, the first one, is a studio hub. So this is just a small space for a studio. Dance Mount Isa, actually Sally, she does dance marketing on Skool, but she runs their studio hub. This would be an example of a private space just for the studio where they can get information about what's going on. This example, Worship Work, which Liz was actually a student of mine years ago. She's a commercial dancer who teaches hip hop and jazz and a variety of things. And she recently branched off into this niche of Christian hip hop dance and started a community called Worship Work. And she's done a pretty good job of bringing her already large following on Instagram over to Skool. And she's able to offer a subscription where they pay monthly for these classes. And then the last one is DNY Salsa Academy. They actually have in-person classes at their studio. I think it's in New York. I might be wrong, but they have an online space as well. So kind of that hybrid model where they have their in-person classes, but they also teach these tutorials for people online. And they found success recently as the winner of the Q4 school games last year. They won the competition, making the most monthly recurring revenue in their space. They're also in the hobby category. So that's an example of one that's doing well and actually is also growing from Skool. So people on Skool can discover the space. Similar to Facebook, people on Facebook can discover these different groups and join if they're open to them. And you can also keep it closed to other people too. So what I am offering is a Done-For-You community build of building this space out. I would handle setting this up and building it out, making it tailored to your space, and then assisting with any kind of launch that you do, bringing members over to it and how that works, and doing any kind of walkthroughs or tutorials or Q&As about Skool with you, with your staff. We would do 4 one-on-one calls throughout a 30-day period with hands-on support, and that could be all at once, or it could be on a weekly basis. It could be recorded if it's better for you and for your time, or it could be with one of your team members. You or they can contact me at any time with questions related to Skool and to the build out. But I wanted to share with you because I've been on this platform and I don't plan to leave. It's a really cool space. And I think it's only going to grow over the next few years. These kinds of community spaces seem to be growing as social media sort of seems to be dying. And AI and community kind of seem to go hand in hand. People are getting this like really human experience online, which I think a lot of us miss sometimes. We miss a lot on social media and we miss with all of the tech that's being built, but the tech really helps with spaces like Skool. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Talk to you guys soon.